Welcome to the Undercovers cast with your hosts, Jenna and Paul. Unfortunately, Ben and Tommy cannot be here tonight, but we have a lot to go over from the Bills' unfortunate loss to the New England Patriots this past Sunday, and we preview their upcoming matchup, which is actually tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Paul, what are your reactions to the loss the other day? I know Twitter was a mess, and everybody called for the Bills' downfall, saying that we're frauds because we lost to the Patriots. But how do you feel?
Um, those Twitter people can stop calling us frauds. I think every year, every team, I mean, the Bills specifically, and you can look at the 49ers at the moment who have lost two games as well. And no one's really calling them frauds at the moment. And here's just Buffalo like looking completely out of sort and just on it's just on it just it doesn't grasp people comprehension at the moment of why the Bills are struggling, because the numbers show that the Bills offense isn't the issue, but the Bills defense hasn't, even though they haven't played up to par at moments, it showed that it can actually do good and be good. So it's this weird funk type of, I don't know, it's just this weird thing that no one can't at the moment grasp, because it's just something we haven't seen yet. I mean, whether it's, the offense trying to learn a new offense and they're still trying to, or Josh is doing too much, or Dorsey's trying to do too many things at once, it's just not working, or it's just the defense just not raging up the offense. Personally, I honestly think it's the defense, because I feel like the 3 wins for the Bills were based off defense. The defense were able to get sacks, big stops, turnovers, were able to juice up the offense just a little bit, and Josh Allen didn't have to do much. And now it's all the pressure now on the offense to score 25, 30 points a game is just, it's draining for
Well,
a
yeah,
high-powered offense as us.
but like when you're struggling to get into the red zone, like the Bills
Mhm.
have had for the past 3 games, like I don't think that has much to do with um like how much of a hole they're getting into or anything. I don't think they're intimidated because we've seen in the past 3 games they can get up tempo and they can get into the red zone when they want to. So I think it's just about execution and energy that, and also Josh like using his legs, making those big plays, um, the run game as well. Those are the 3 big components to how the Bills can find success. But I truly think it's just an execution thing, and
Mhm.
maybe they need another weapon to take some pressure off of Gabe Davis. He usually thrives as a number 3. There's a lot of conversation as to if he's the number 2, if he is good as a number 2. So the trade deadline is coming up in less than a week. So we'll see if they do anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's execution is the issue, but like I mean, you know, if in on Twitter, on group chats, you might think, I'm for the firing of Kent Dorsey. The only reason why I might say that is just because of what the offenses looked like. It
Yeah, but
just
we've also seen what the offenses has looked
right.
like when it's executing. Week 2 to week
Hmm.
4, we weren't complaining. We weren't like necessarily complaining about Ken Dorsey then.
Right.
So
No.
it's only right now when the offense is in a funk. I think I hate to go back to London, but like that really messed them up. And I also think that some of the injuries that have been suffered on defense really like decrease their energy a little bit. Um, when you know that your defense is not going to be as powerful anymore, like that, just like I don't know, it's less of a security blanket to be honest. But
100%.
that should be no excuse as to why the offense isn't executing.
Mm-mm.
Something's wrong. And They need to figure it out, but they don't have much time because they play tomorrow. And
There's what
no, you can go ahead.
I was just to kind of build off your point, just like there's really is no time. I mean, at the moment, I'm like, say if the Bills were right now 5-2 instead of 4-3, okay, we can press the brakes a little bit on the panic issue of the offense, but this is 4-3, and this was supposed to be the Bills' easiest stretch of the year before have to face Cincinnati, uh, Philadelphia and Kansas City and some of the other bigger teams that, have decent defenses to go up against the Bills' high-powered offense, So, like, this game tomorrow, as we're going to get into a little bit later, to me, it's an early October must win, and
Early October.
just
It's late
sorry,
October, man.
late October must win game for the Bills. I mean, it the offense doesn't have to look pretty tomorrow. What I want is what we saw in the second half, and I applaud Dorsey for this, is
Hmm.
the dink and dunk, short pass offense, small yard ball. Just do that, and I think this offense gets it back on track.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be aggressive, but the small ball offense is going to what is going to open up Stephon Diggs for a 50-yard bomb down the field. And I think we want to open up aggressive, but if you open up trying to go 10, 15 yard, 10, 15 uh, play drives, I think that would be fine for me, you know, to get this offense back on track.
Yeah. And when you open up the game with a 30-yard pass play that ends up being an interception, like that's not how you do it. You have to start
No.
small. Can't go intermediate just yet. They need to utilize Cook more in the passing game, and they did. They did use him a good ton in the Patriots game, which
Mhm.
was one of the bright spots along with Dalton Kincaid. He finally got over 40 yards receiving in a game. So we're seeing a shift where they're starting to utilize some of their playmakers and spreading the ball around. They're using Hardy a little bit more. Sherfield, not that much. They still haven't used him. He's really been relegated to a blocking role. They're using Shakir a little bit more. So I'd like to see that moving forward, and I think that the offense is really going to benefit from it. And the run game, James Cook, he had a phenomenal game on Sunday. I think he had like about 50 rushing yards. Okay, that's modest. Not what you want to see out of your franchise number one back. But he had those about 40 receiving yards.
Mhm.
So that was something that we'd like to see going forward. Um, but something's got to give because according to like EPA and stuff, the Bills are still second and off. Oh, no, they went from second to fourth. Fourth in offensive EPA. So it's like they're getting like they're getting the points that are expected. Um, but like why isn't it's just that they have to work on the flow of the game, like you said, in the second half. If we can get what we got in the second half of each of the games, then we're golden. But the first half, it's like for some reason, like they just don't get off on a good start at times. It's been a few games since they've had a first drive touchdown, first drive points, if anything. So they have to
It's
work on
been
that.
the Bills have 0 first half touchdowns in the last 2 games, which is concerning to me.
Mhm.
Based off the Bills almost having what I think they had 31 points in that first half against Miami or something like that. So I
Mhm.
mean, saw the apex of what the Bills offense could be, which was that 3-game stretch of winning. And then you just see this downward slope, and it's like and then we lose these games that we're supposed to win, and it's like, well, where's the issue? To me, I mean, I have some comparables here. Uh, the Bills' rushing yards per game since Miami was seventh at the time before heading into the Miami game was seventh in the league, and the Bills are now 14th in rushing yards per game. What I want to see is exactly what you said, Jenna, is use the running game more. We've seen times where it's third and two or third and one. The Bills are lining up in shotgun, and
I know. Like, what about that? What
it's
about
like
that fourth? It was like 4th and 2,
it
and
was fourth and two, and
it was the
everyone was
Dawson Knox
8 to
drop.
10 yards down the
Hmm.
field. I'm like,
Yeah,
at that point, what are you doing? It's because, like, come on, it's 2 yards. I would rather us run 4th and 2 on that play, and if we only got a yard and a half and we're only a half yard short, I wouldn't be screaming as much because I think that's the right call. But
right.
4th and 2, you're lining up in what? I don't know what they lined up in, but like everyone's anywhere from like 5 to 10 yards down the field. At that point, I'm like, there's nothing you can do. You're just throwing up a hope. And I just think that's the Bills' problem. T- they're too stuck in their ways to me personally. They're just stuck in their old habits. And I think the Bills just need to grow from them and evolve from it. Maybe we do need another additional weapon. But I don't think we need additional weapons because, as you stated, we have Hardy and we have Sherfield on the team. We're missing kind of that as Emmanuel Sanders type player
Yeah,
on this team that can just shoot up the middle. I think that's Hardy. That can certainly be Shakir as well.
I think Hardy would be the best one because he's a veteran.
Mhm.
You know, you want a veteran, someone who's sure-handed. Um, but the problem is they're gonna. I mean, actually, no, that's not a problem anymore because as everyone knows, Dawson Knox, he is going to be out for a little bit with a wrist injury. He's getting surgery. He actually got surgery on Monday, so he's resting right now. And the interesting thing is that he's not on IR.
Right.
So, is he coming back sooner than 4 weeks? Um, Possibly 3 weeks he can come back. We'll see. I hope that he comes back because I don't want to like totally abandon 12 personnel.
No.
And you know that wrist injury, we don't know how much that affected him in his play. He had some drops that were costly in the past couple games that might have contributed to it. Who knows? But in the meantime, 11 personnel. We're gonna have three. Yeah, we definitely do. We need to force defenses to answer to us. We don't want to answer to
Yeah,
them. That's
I agree
that's
full heartedly.
the main priority because these past 3 games we've had to answer to these teams. I mean, say what was it the Raiders game? We had to answer to the Raiders because they scored a
Mhm.
touchdown, but then we just ran up the score. So that's a really good point. We need to get those early first half points because we have not gotten them
So
these past few games.
interesting nugget. Just to seem like this was kind of brought up on the local radio shows, like the coin toss, like how important that is if the
Mhm.
Bills win the toss.
Yeah.
Because even
They,
though
the
this
thing is, they did. They won the
they
toss versus the
did,
Patriots. They deferred.
and they received the ball, and then they just and then just Dorsey just decides, let's throw it and chuck it.
No,
But
they didn't.
but it,
No. The Patriots had the ball the first drive of the game.
okay, so the so
So
the so
they,
the Bills decided not to take the football, even
yeah.
though the stat says if you win the toss, you have a better percent chance of winning because you can double dip.
Mhm.
But as shown in the past, the Bills have a better winning percentage if they receive the ball because they're able to score first and play with the lead. So again, it's kind of like the Sabres kryptonite in a way. It's like if the Sabres fall behind, there's chances are, the offense isn't going,
Mhm.
chances are you're not getting back
Yeah,
into
they get
the
down
game. And it's
3-0, and it's not working. They
yeah.
can't
And so
get
the
up.
Bills are down 7-0, and it's like and the offense doesn't get going the next drive, you're already behind the 8 ball. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that should or could be considered. But I don't know. Just interesting nugget.
Yeah, and as far as like trades, everyone's been talking about that lately. Um, do we go on the offense or do we go on the defense? I know a
This
lot of
is,
people are split.
you know, it's
I am too,
literally
actually.
it's splitting hairs because we want to see that big offensive move to pump us up because we've always just saw defensive moves, like defensive moves, and there's nothing with the offense. But I don't think the offense is the issue. Like, personally, I don't because I think we have the players on staff to formulate the offense that we want to have. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it work. I mean, I think Cook, Hardy, Sherfield, Kincaid all need to be used more. I mean, that would certainly probably decreases Davis' snap percentage on the field, which I think it's a good thing because and then maybe this is why you go offensive side of the ball here, because in the 4 wins the Bills have, Gabe Davis, specifically going to be the 3 I'm going to point out, he had under 75% of the snaps. So the 3 wins that he had under 75% was Washington, Las Vegas, and Miami, which we just trounced teams. The Giants was an almost loss, but we won. He had 86%. So maybe him on the field more prevents this offense from doing what they want to do. Maybe that's why you would go get an offensive piece. But I want the Bills to really focus personally on the defensive side of the ball because the Bills went from second in yards allowed since the Miami game to 14th, and they went from 18th yards per play from the Miami game to 26th. I think they can make moves on both offense and defense, but if it comes down to one move, I want to see the Bills try to get something on the defensive side of the ball personally.
Um, so I'm split because I understand your point about defense. You know, we're super freaking injured right now. Uh, but you know, if Dorian Williams can adjust himself, if they can just, I honestly, you know what, they could actually make two trades. Two trades. Just depends on which offensive player they get.
Right.
Um, but if or sign a free agent, but I don't think they want to get Sub because he's 36 years old. But
Yeah, no.
there Andrew Billings from Chicago, the one tech from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
his cap hit if traded would be like 1 billion, 1 million or something like that. So it's
Right.
very doable, and he's on a 1 year deal.
Mm-hmm.
So trade for him. You're on the hook for 1 year for the remaining guaranteed money. Um,
Right.
that they also got Elianku back.
Mhm.
I know some people aren't happy about that, but I don't know who else are you gonna get? Like, if you're not gonna trade for anybody, you might as well get a guy back. Um, I hope that they trade for somebody because I think
Mhm.
they can do better. Just it's not gonna be pretty for a pretty penny. They're gonna have to go with some dirty change. Um, and then for offense, the point of these games is to score points. And like you said with Gabe Davis, when his snap share is over 90%, the Bills lose. When it's under 90%, the Bills win. So might need a third option. I know
Mhm.
Dalton Kincaid, he's going to get a lot of attention in these next few weeks with Dawson Knox out. They're going to be able to utilize 11 personnel more with one wide receiver, or I'm sorry, one running back, one tight end, three wide receivers. So in that case, you can get Hardy on the field. You can get Shakir on the
Right.
field. So although Gabe Davis, his snap count might still be high, you have someone else on the field not named Dawson Knox. So,
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox being on the field allows for only Diggs and Davis as wide receivers. So, what was Dawson Knox's snap share in those games?
Oh, I would have to pull it up in the wins, or are you trying to
In the
are you
wins and losses? Honestly,
okay.
because you might see a correlation. To be honest,
Alright, cool. Let's see. Because that's an interesting nugget that you brought up Dawson Knox. But like Dawson Knox is on the field because we want to run not 14 personnel. We want to run 12 personnel.
of course,
So I
yes,
mean,
but what? Of course, but when you take that into consideration, only 2 wide receivers can be on the field, so you're gonna have Diggs and Davis on the field.
all right. Give me a moment as I find the name Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox against the Jets had an 84% snap share on offense against the Jets, and that presumably was the Bills' first loss of the season. Let's see if this kind of ish trend turns as the Bills go into that 3-game win streak against the Raiders here, which was week 2. Dawson Knox was on the field 71% of the time. So it's starting to seem to be the same kind of correlation with Gabe Davis in a way. Let's see what I would say. Let's see as I get closer to 60%. He was on the field for against the Commanders, and obviously the Bills trounced them. Dolphins. Let's see if it's the same. Bear with us as we're looking through these snap shares.
It was on Pro
Dawson
Football
Knox
Reference.
against Dawson Knox against the Dolphins was a 50% snap share. So we're almost there. Jaguars. He was on the field 70% of the time. So it's turning out to be, I don't know, because I don't think it's
What
fully
can
kind of
you
like the Gabe
hold on?
Davis
Hold
thing.
on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me? Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah.
I'm cutting in and out.
A little,
Hmm.
but not too
Okay.
bad. A little bit, not too bad though.
What was the snap share versus the Giants and the Patriots?
Giants was 75%, and then the Patriots are just about to get there now. Patriots, he was 63%. So it's not like the full Gabe Davis thing. It's close, but not really the same.
Well, they're going to be running 11 personnel a lot more. And you're going to, obviously, Kincaid, he's going to be on the field for a good amount. We have to run 11 personnel at this point because we don't have Quentin Morris, we don't have Dawson Knox, and Reggie Gilliam. I love Reggie Gilliam, but he's not a true tight end.
No.
So in that case, they're going to want to go try 20. Is he considered a running back or a tight end right now? Like on the roster, Reggie
Gilliam,
yeah,
fullback.
Well, of course, but like, how does that incorporated into personnel?
I would believe that would correlate into the running back, if like running back share snap count type thing. How many running backs we have on the roster? I believe he would be considered a running back because he lines up in the backfield. So I would assume that would be a fullback type running back type uh, snap count share, whatever, getting on the field like that. But like that's the other weird thing about this Bills offense is that they run better. The run offense is better in 11 personnel uh than in 12 personnel.
Mm-hmm.
It's this weird thing where at times the Bills are actually better in 11 personnel because maybe it's because they're used to running it. And then they switch to 12 personnel, everyone is slightly confused and don't know where to go and doesn't I mean, obviously they should know how to line up, but maybe it's just something that they're just not used to the play call. Maybe that's the issue.
Could be.
They're just adjusting.
Yeah. 'Cause you're playing different defenses now, and defenses are able to spot out things. So Cover One pointed out that defenses are now able to point out the Bills' hot routes.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to change those up a little bit. They need to get away from going mainly to Diggs. You know,
Oh yeah,
they need to scheme some plays for Kincaid, scheme some plays for Davis, even scheme some plays for James Cook. There's a lot of things that they're going to need to do to fix their offense, but like one lingering and this literally lingering issue is Josh Allen's shoulder.
yeah,
You find out that he quite possibly has an AC joint injury. The AC joint is right here on the shoulder, between the clavicle and the shoulder. And it seems like I'm not a doctor, I'm not an athletic trainer yet, but this injury is probably relatively mild, considering that he's able to play. So he's probably in some pain. It's just pain management at this point, and you know, a lot has been talked about the Bills and incorporating Josh Allen into the run game.
I wasn't
Obviously,
mad at
that's
that.
yeah, and obviously that's been a thing for the past 5 years, 5 seasons since Josh has been in the league. He's always had these designed runs, or he's taken off himself, but it seems like it's being drilled into his head not to do that, so he just hasn't done that.
Right.
And he even said himself that he doesn't want to major in running, which is unfortunate because that's what everyone's been banging the table for. Even though in the past we've said, oh my God, we don't want Josh Allen to be running as much. He's our franchise quarterback. We want him to stay healthy. We don't want him to turn into freaking Andrew Luck. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But, you kind of take for granted the things that he's so good at. And, you watch his rushing highlights and you're like, man, I wish he would do that now. I miss that side of him.
I
But
certainly agree.
I miss it so much. Like when you hear the announcers going, Josh Allen, like taking off or something like that, just like, oh my God, it just like it lights your brain up when he runs, because you know that we're gonna pick up yards. So maybe they'll try incorporating that, not now, but in the future. We do have a mini bye coming up before we play the Bengals. So
Right.
that's 10 days after this game tomorrow night that Josh can rest up. The only thing is, he's been practicing in full. So,
Right.
what does that say? Does that mean that he's okay? Maybe he's probably getting a nice shot in his shoulder prior to practice and
You're
prior to
massaging his shoulder for us. There you go. That's
yeah.
what you're doing. You just secret behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're massaging that shoulder. So it's just gonna be a lingering issue. He's gonna have to take care of it. I'm definitely gonna rest it this next week. So it's something to look out for. I don't know if he's gonna be running tomorrow. Might want to limit that for the time being. But I think James Cook, he's coming off a really good game. They're just gonna have to lean on James Cook and Tay Murray for the time being. Ty Johnson as well.
Hmm.
We haven't. Hopefully, we get up big in a game so we can see a little bit of Ty Johnson. Um,
Yeah.
we uh, we actually got an update on Damian Harris that McDermott doesn't know. He's uncertain of
Hmm.
Damian's football future at the moment. I think he's kind of weighing his options right now, just given the neck injury. He had a neck injury. He showed up on the injury report about a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
Um, we're like, oh goodness, like Damian's got a neck injury now. Like he's just gonna have to play through it. Then he plays on Sunday versus the Giants. Has to go to the hospital because he suffered a neck injury. Um, Now he's weighing his options whether or not he wants to retire. So best of luck to Damian. I hope you get well, bud. Like you've been one of my favorite
Hopefully.
players.
I know.
Yeah, I want him back, but I want him to be healthy and okay.
What one of my favorite kind of off season signings as well, other
Mhm.
than Leonard Floyd. All right, let's kind of stop talking about the offense and let's just transition into something cooler. Not cooler. I mean, obviously, Bills talk is always cool, but obviously, Tommy and Ben are not here. We're gonna talk. So let's dive into some other NFL news and notes for the time being. Brock Purdy might be out versus Cincinnati. That's what could be worse than Burrow versus Sam Darnold sounds okay, but doesn't sound okay in my eyes. I wanted to see Burrow Purdy versus Purdy. One of the probably the better 4 o'clock
First
games.
overall pick versus the last overall pick. Like
Yeah.
that's enticing, and given the success that the Niners have had with Purdy, I mean, minus the last 2 games, um, it's just like it would have been a really cool matchup to see. But unfortunately, Purdy is trying to pass concussion protocol more times than not. The player in concussion protocol does not play the following week, so probably not going to see Brock uh, on Sunday. Um, but Sam Darnold, you know, we're going to have to see if this 49ers team can function with just about anybody at quarterback. And we've seen
Right.
it in the past. They functioned with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's not a new thing that like, oh, you're sliding a different quarterback in there. Let's see if Brock Purdy is a system quarterback. Well, more time. I mean, the thing about Brock Purdy is that he's so efficient. Not saying he's opposite of Jimmy Garoppolo, but like Jimmy
Mhm.
Garoppolo is, it's Jimmy G. He's the most average quarterback in the league. Um, yet for some reason he just makes the 49ers offense function in to a degree. Um, so I guess like the 49ers, they've had success with just about anybody at quarterback minus Trey Lance. Um, so we're just gonna have to see how Sam Darnold looks, in his
Yeah.
what is this his third stint? See, he was with Jets, he was with the
Jets,
Panthers,
Panthers. No, yeah. This is his third
49ers.
time trying to get back.
Yeah, so his
Being
third stint.
yeah, to try to be a starter somehow in this league.
Mhm.
I mean, unless he
He's never
blows
going.
people's minds this weekend and like destroys the hell out of the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't think Sam Darnold turns into an option for anyone.
Yeah,
Uh Ravens have the most interest in Derrick Henry.
I don't like that. I mean, we don't play the Ravens this year, but come playoffs, that team's gonna be crazy. You saw how they destroyed the Lions into oblivion. Imagine Derrick Henry on that team when you have Lamar Jackson handing him the ball, and let's say you have an RPO and you're about to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. Nope, Lamar Jackson is taken off. Like
No. No.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
no. It's like you got to keep your eyes on Derrick Henry because okay, Lamar he can dump it off. He can also he can also take off. So like, try stopping that team. Then you got Zay Flowers and OBJ. I mean OBJ. I think he's been decent this season. Um, but you got
Yeah.
Zay Flowers in there and Mark Andrews. Like that's a dangerous combination.
Oh, it
Uh,
certainly is.
so I don't want to see him in the playoffs if they got Derrick Henry.
Let's hope this doesn't happen. Tyson Bagents wins first NFL game as a former Division II quarterback. He was told that he couldn't play Division I football, so became undrafted, and then the Bears gave him a chance. He goes out and clobbers Brian Hoyer and Josh McDaniels' Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. I think that's just the best story out of Sunday. I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. I don't know status of Justin Fields, but that's amazing, and hopefully
Mhm.
he can turn into something in the
Yeah.
NFL.
I would I mean I would definitely like to see him play again and go against the Chargers and destroy the Chargers or just win. Because we don't want I mean the Chargers are just the mess right now. Um so I guess it wouldn't be that hard to beat them, especially with the Bears, you know. Um
The Bears.
I like the story of him football program and then coming into the NFL and winning his first game as a starter. Um it's really impressive and I hope for the best for him.
It's hard coming out of Division Two. And then coming to the NFL, obviously Division Two is different than Division One. The types of that's what he was basically told. Like if you go to Division One, you can get clobbered up there, and it's just different types of football. I mean, he literally comes in from Division Two, undrafted, and he just destroys an NFL team. That is awesome. So good story there. Let's hop over to uh my power rankings for the week, and then Jenna, after I give out my power
Mhm.
rankings, can trash me if she would like.
Okay.
So my college power rankings lines up like this. Michigan is the best team in college football, no buts or ifs. I don't care about their cheating scandals at the moment. They are the best team right now in college football. Their offense is clicking, their defense is amazing. They're on a natty run. But who might be in their way? It's Florida State, personally. Florida State's just
They are
complete.
hot.
They are hot. Keon
Yeah.
Coleman's going to be a Bill. I'm
Oh
so
man. Yes,
excited
he
for
is. I
him.
can't wait.
Number 3, it's the Washington Huskies. Even though the Pac-12 can't play defense, their offense is awesome with Penix and their high-powered offense. Oh, they're awesome to watch. At number 4, I have Oklahoma. Again, what the keys that you're seeing here in the first four placed in my power rankings, they're all complete. They're all hot. They're all doing things that they're supposed to be doing, which is winning football games, obviously.
Mhm.
Number 5, I have Georgia. Only reasons because they're the number 1 team in the country. They have some offensive issues. If they get to the college football playoffs, I think obviously they probably are because they're number 1 right now. There's no way they're advancing to a third straight natty.
And that's ridiculous. Like that they have him at they're putting him at number one solely because they won the national championship last year.
Literally, there's nothing good about
It's like,
Georgia
oh
at
my
the
god,
moment.
Georgia back to back national natty champions. Like it's just yeah, whatever.
All right,
My Texas, they're doing all right now. They kind of they sh-
they're in a
uh
slump ish.
they are like a couple weeks ago they lost against Oklahoma. Last week against Houston, they started out good, but then they let Houston catch up to them because their head coach was making some dumb decisions. Uh, going it
Rutgers
on or
T-shirt.
faking a freaking field goal. Like what the heck? What are you doing? It's Houston. I mean, I'm like, you don't need to be that desperate right there to get 6. Like, just take the freaking field goal, and they took it down to the line against Houston. Didn't like that.
Yeah.
Um,
The
They
way
had
you said
something to fix.
Houston, it sounded like they were just a bunch of nobodies. I mean, they have a decent
Yeah,
program.
yeah, but yeah, and crazy enough, yours he actually has an AC joint sprain.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so both my
I'm gosh,
quarterbacks
his
have
shoulders
AC
seem
joint injuries. He's gonna be out for a few weeks, and we're gonna see Murphy, Murphy, our
all
backup
right.
quarterback.
Time
All
for
right.
my NFL power rankings. Ready?
Mhm.
Number 1, the Baltimore Ravens. Last week I had the Lions up here at 1, but like there's no team right now I think it's better in the NFL, even though they're 5-2. I mean, they're 5-2 for a reason. They're 5-2 because Lamar Jackson is playing the most complete football. I mean, he's running, but he's also passing, and he's showing it both that their defense is actually not blowing them games this year, which is a benefit to them. And the Ravens are scary. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. They certainly could be one, but they're a close number 2 in my books. I think, you know, their offense is a bit meh at the moment. They're still trying to figure out their offense, but they were playing the Chargers last on Sunday, so I don't know. Number 3 will be the Eagles. I mean, they just showed why they're the Eagles. I mean, 2 times Sirianni does the tush push on fourth with a yard. I mean, he did it at his own like 35-yard line,
Mhm.
and
Hey,
he, and it's just
I
like,
at that point I'm like I'm pro tush push, like I'm pro brotherly shove because I want them to beat the Dolphins, and they did. I'm really
and they did.
thank you Eagles. Like shake your hand. Like I'm
Shake your hands.
very
Number 4,
forever,
I
forever
have
be
the four.
indebted.
Yeah,
Hmm? Forever be indebted to the Eagles for that.
good job, Eagles. You are now our
Yeah.
best friends until we meet again. Well,
Mm,
we meet later in the year. Number
yeah.
4, I had the 49ers. They're in a bit of a slump, but I'm going to believe in them at the moment because they're just the 49ers and they were just on this electric upward. Everything's going. Let's see how they do against adversity. 5 will be the Lions, even though they lost uh badly to the Ravens. They're still a really, really, really good team. And that's my power rankings. The Bills are
Mhm.
actually not in my top 6 because I
And
wrote
that's
6.
okay.
They're not in my top 7. They're 8th at the moment, but
Yeah, and
that's okay for
that's
me.
okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Because they're not playing very well at all right now. They have some things to fix. Um, the Ravens. That's a good one. Uh, because we did see them. They of course they beat the Bengals, but Bengals weren't good at that time. But they beat the Bengals. They did lose to the Steelers, unfortunately. They beat the Colts. Um, they beat some pretty decent squads. Uh, and beating the Lions, you took it to the freaking Lions who've been lighting things up, who beat the
Right.
Chiefs. So they are playing very good football right now. And I applaud the Ravens. I thought that the Lions would win. I truly believed that the Lions would win. But the Ravens, they really took it to them. The the Chiefs, they absolutely slaughtered the Chargers. Um, so I have no problem putting them at 2. The Eagles, I have no problem putting them at 3. Uh, just beat them. The Dolphins are sitting at 6-1. Uh, you said 4. Um,
4 was oop, there's the NFL. Right here. 4 was the 49ers.
yep. That's fine too. We know how explosive they can be. They're just in a little bit of a slump, just like the Bills.
Mhm.
5 Lions. Lions are great. I'm really happy for those fans.
I
I enjoy
really
watching
am.
Lions. Yeah, and they they had like a really cool play a couple weeks ago. Um, when they snapped the ball between the quarterback's leg under center.
Oh yeah.
for the running back. Oh my goodness. I love that play so freaking much. That was amazing to see. I could watch it over and over again. But I think your power rankings are very fair. I like them. Hmm.
I made a great list, I
Yeah.
think. Try not to be biased because I could have certainly slipped in the Bills in there. I could definitely would have made a point, but I didn't. Uh, Bills Bucks, big game tomorrow night. Uh, big game. I mean, this is like I said earlier, it's a massive must win. I mean, literally week 8, and we're talking about must wins for the Bills. I mean, uh, they're going to have struggles on offense tomorrow. They may have struggling running the football tomorrow because the Bucks are just the stingiest run defense. The Bucks red zone defense is also very good. This game might be closer than what people think. I just don't know. I want the Bills to go out and play a typical prime Thursday night primetime game and win 35-10, and we're just listening to Al Michaels give us a boring spiel. But I think we're going to be bored by the play in the field rather than listening to Al Michaels.
Yeah. Um, I'm I'm picking the Bills to win the game. They're gonna want to bounce back,
Speak
and
to later.
yeah, uh, less than a week later, they're gonna want to bounce back and rid of themselves that nasty loss versus New England. Um, I'm nervous about the defense. They looked horrible against the Patriots, and then they're playing Mike Evans, possibly, possibly Chris Godwin. Um, they got some nice running backs. I'm a little concerned, especially with our corners right now. They're not doing great, and our run defense has been abysmal. Um, Pass defense has been abysmal. Our linebackers were terrible last week. So I am concerned about that. Hopefully we get Ed Oliver back. He's listed as questionable for the game. There's a real possibility that he'll be able to play. He was limited all week in practice. That's a good sign that he's progressing and he's at least getting some practice in. I guess it's probably just more of like a pain management thing right now. But I'll still take the Bills just because I think they're going to bounce back.
We're in need for a bounce back. I mean, we're just craving just the Bills to, at this point, just win. But
Mhm.
like, for some fans, win is okay, but they want to see the Bills tomorrow and just smack the heck out of the Buccaneers because who we're facing at quarterback at the other side is Baker Mayfield, and it's like,
Possibly.
well,
It's questionable.
possibly, well then it's probably Kyle Trask then, but same point. It's whoever is playing quarterback for the Buccaneers. I don't know. You know, do I think Baker Mayfield could have a good game just as Mac Jones went up and down the Bills defense last game? It's quite a possibility because I have no trust in Dane Jackson whatsoever. He missed 22% of his tackles last week. He's okay at times in coverage, but if you tell him to tackle somebody 1v1, there's no chance. Start looking away from the TV. Immediately you start seeing Dane Jackson's number because he's missing it. There's no chance he's
Hmm.
tackling somebody tomorrow. So just that's my issue
Yeah.
is tackling. Like it's a simple thing that Sean McDermott preaches to this defense, and at times it seems like it's the hardest thing to do
Hmm.
when it's game day. Just that's the frustrating part,
Yeah.
and the concerning part to me tomorrow is that that's the only way I can see the Buccaneers travel up and down the Bills defense if we're just bad in coverage and just can't tackle.
Yeah. Do I think the offense is going to bounce back? Possibly. If they're running 11 personnel, it's more familiar to them. So they could start to get the ball rolling a little bit in the first half. and the game will flow from there. Hopefully that's the case. What's the next game we have?
Next game? Oh, we're not even in game picks yet. We're
Oh,
just
we're
talking Bills
not?
Bucks. No.
What? Oh, shoot. Okay. Dang. Well,
I was just
yeah. Well, as you
but
guys know, my game pick for the Bills Bucks is Bills.
we can go into game picks now if you would want. I mean, that's a perfect
Yeah,
segue.
sure.
Okay, cool. Perfect segue into game picks because Jenna didn't realize we were in game picks. So, as you alluded to, we are now in game picks. Let me throw up the standings up.
I
That
saw, man.
the Cardinals win against the Cowboys is keeping my record for not being tied with Ben and Tommy. That's all it is right now. It's that Cardinals bold take. It's keeping me alive. But
Wow.
Ben had the Bucks winning tomorrow. Tommy had the Patriots, the Bills to win, and I'm going to take the Bills. Said it before the show. Don't think it's going to be a blowout win for the Bills. I think it's going to be a tight 17-10 game. We're going to be biting our fingernails to the very end. For some of us, stress eating. I eat, not me. Hint, hint, yes, me. To the very end tomorrow night. It's going to be close, stressful, but that's how you're going to start your weekend. But over the weekend, you're also going to see a big division game. Miami versus New England. Ben says Miami, and Tommy says Miami. Jenna?
I'm gonna go Miami on this one. Although we heard news that Tyreek Hill was not at practice for having a hip injury, uh, they still got Jalen Waddle. That run, okay. Raheem Mostert is also questionable, or he didn't practice, so that's an issue in and of itself. They don't have Devon Achane. They don't have Chris Brooks. So they have just Savon Ahmed in their running back room. So that is tough. So how are they going to run the ball? How are they going to pass the ball? Jalen Waddle is listed as limited with his back injury. So now that's got me thinking a little bit. Then I'm still going Miami. They're the safe bet.
Give me the upset in this matchup and give me New England. I mean, maybe it was a fluke last week that they looked awesome against the Bills because we played such horrible defense. But just all the injuries on both sides of the ball just makes me feel with Mike McDaniels being a second year's coaching and Bill Belichick has been coaching in this league forever. He would know how to win. You can get this team to know how to win a close game like this with all these injuries. Give me New England. I think they can pull the upset. And for us Bills fans, it would make us very happy if that would happen. A
Yeah.
show in the Meadowlands. I mean, literally, this could just be stated as a neutral site game because both teams share this stadium, but it's a Giants home game. Jets visits the Giants.
Okay. So I initially picked the Giants because I liked what we saw from Tyrod Taylor last week, but I'm gonna pick the Jets. The Giants' offensive line has been decimated with injury. Um, that Jets' defensive line is gonna freaking eat, and I don't know if Sauce and DJ Reed are gonna be back. I know they've been missing for the past couple weeks with a concussion. I don't know what's going on with that, but the Jet. Oh, they had the concussion week in week 5, and then or they missed in week 5, and then they played. They had their bye this past week. Okay. So for the past game week, they've been missing with a concussion. So who knows if they're going to be back this week, but I fully expect the Jets to take this one.
Ben and Tommy will agree with you, and I will too. I don't know. Everyone has lost hope in Zach Wilson. I haven't really. I think he can be something in this league. I think he can be something useful, kind of like in the Brock Purdy type role. I think that would be perfect for Zach Wilson. And if in the future, if the Jets want to go that route when Rodgers retires, I think that's what's going to keep the Jets afloat. Fun NFC North game up in the frozen tundra. It was expected. I think the first snowstorm of the season is traveling in that area. I don't think it's going to hit them. I don't think it's going to hit the Midwest. But I'm looking through some of the college football games this week. There's some snow. There's some snow in the Michigan game. So I'm like, this could potentially be our first snow game of the year in Green Bay. But where does your brain lie?
Um, I'm going with Minnesota. They look freaking awesome against the Niners. Jordan Addison in place of Justin Jefferson looks amazing. And Kirk Cousins, he's on fire. I'm surprised he's not an MVP favorite at this point. He has the most total or the most passing touchdowns in the league. He only has 5 interceptions. He's got 2,100 or about 2,000 passing yards. He looks phenomenal. I don't understand how he's not up there in MVP. I mean, he looked great against the Niners, one of the best defenses in the league, and he didn't even have Justin Jefferson. He hasn't had Justin Jefferson for the past 2 games. So I just don't understand how he's not a favorite at this point. But Jordan Addison, man, that touchdown that he had, the second one, I it reminded me of Diggs, and he just reminds me of Diggs. Grabbing the ball out of the DB's hands and he just running off with it with 8 seconds left in the first half is just I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the? It was amazing. But I like the Vikings in this one.
That touchdown I missed live. I was watching the Sabres game. I forget who they were. I think it was Montreal. And that happened while I was being depressed while watching the Sabres. But I seen it and I'm like, that's an awesome catch, by the way. Ben and Tommy will agree with you. They both picked the Vikings in this one. I won't
You
agree
love
with
Green
you.
Bay.
I do. I do. I don't know. I haven't, even though they've had some terrible losses and look complete garbage, there's something about me that would say Green Bay has to change at some point, and they're going to get better at some point. Give me the Packers in this one. Hopefully they don't ruin my record this weekend. All right, we talked about this game earlier, but now we're going to pick it. Bengals going on the road to the 49ers. Question at quarterback for the Niners at quarterback. Are you?
Yeah. I had initially picked the Niners before I heard the news about Brock Purdy being out, potentially. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. They're coming off of a bye. They're gonna be freshened up. Uh, their defense, they're tough. They have a tough defense. I think they might give Sam Darnold some problems. This is Sam Darnold's first start of the season. So he's just going to have to acclimate, and unfortunately, it's against a stout Bengals defensive front. Joe Burrow, he's slowly becoming himself after coming off of a bye week. You just know that his calf is going to be so much better. So give me the Bengals.
Ben and Tommy will 100% agree with you. I will too for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've agreed with you a couple times. But I will agree with you guys on this one. Cincinnati just is going to start looking like Cincinnati sooner or later. They've shown it. They're going to. And I think Cincinnati is that lost and forgotten team that soon is just going to re-arise themselves just as the Bills and the Chiefs, and they're just going to run away with this. All right, final game. This could be Tyson's Badgin's second game, depending on injury. But Sunday Night Football goes to SoFi for Chargers Bears.
Isn't
Brandon
it?
Staley
No,
or a Division II
hold on,
quarterback?
hold on. Isn't Sunday night is Raiders Lions, right?
No, that's the
What?
Monday night game.
Oh. Okay. All right. All right. What a freaking game! Holy crap! I better see Tyson Badgett lighting up my screen because I'm gonna take the Bears. The Chargers are a mess. Like they
You
look
originally
like
had the Chargers. Are you just messing with my brain at the
I
moment?
I'm gonna take the Bears this time. I am.
All right.
The Chargers they haven't looked great. They poo pooed against the Chiefs. They poo pooed against the Cowboys. Um, I I'm not a fan of this Chargers team. I'm not a fan of their head coach. One bit. So give me the upset with the Bears.
Ben and Tommy went Chargers
Mm.
in this game. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, where do I go? I have a couple upsets in the pocket already. If I do a third, maybe Tyson Badgett plays again. If he does, Bears win. Doesn't matter if Badgett's playing or not. Do the Bears win? The Bears win whoever they have at quarterback. They can roll out the former Bills Nate Peterman for crying out loud, and they will still beat the Chargers even when Peterman will think the Chargers are his own team, but
That's a
Bears
good
win.
one. That's a good one. That's a good
But
one.
I have the Bears. 3 upsets in my slate. You gotta go with the upset sometimes. I really hope Badgett plays, get a second career NFL win, and kind of establish himself in this league, and hopefully some team will pick him up and try to compete for a starting job next year.
Yeah, for sure. Those are really exciting games. Bills Bucks Thursday night. Josh Allen is very good on Thursday night. He has a 5-0 record and 15 touchdowns. So we'll
Didn't
see if
know that.
that.
I knew just knew overall he was good
Yeah,
prime time. I didn't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. He's very good at Thursday night. I hope he does not get the big hat this time, because
You
last
don't. Who
time
do you
when he
want?
got the big hat, that shit's cursed. So we'll see how it
You
ends
want
up.
Davis to get the big hat? Maybe we'll just make him elite.
Maybe, yeah, reverse curse. That'll be cool. But tomorrow, in need of a big win. We need a big win in order to stay alive in the AFC playoff picture,
It's tight.
because it's getting really tight right now. You got the Browns and you got the Browns and who else is in there?
Ravens.
Well, I mean, like
I
in
mean,
wild card.
you can't count out the Jets at the moment too. I mean,
Yeah,
Jags. I mean, how about the Houston Texans for
I
crying out
know.
loud?
They're looking
It's
pretty nice.
like, well, hello
Yeah, where
from
they
the other
come
side.
from? Right. So there's some good teams that are right behind us. We have to get that division back. Thankfully, Miami lost the other day.
It
Me
is
taking
truly impossible to do what the Patriots have done. You just repeat division champions. In our mind, it seems accomplishable because we've seen the Patriots do it. I mean, can it happen again for sure? But sooner rather than later, the Bills are probably gonna lose reign for 1 year, and then all hell breaks loose because we lost the division. But maybe that's the year we win the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm just spewing things at the moment.
maybe I want a home playoff game.
We
always
do.
do well at home, minus the Bengals game. But whatever it takes to get in, you get in. And who knows, they might surprise some people. They might be getting some players back. Um, so it's just a waiting game at this point. Bills play the Bucks tomorrow at home at Highmark Stadium, 8:15 p.m. There's going to be a lot of hype going into this game because we want to see the Bills pull out a win and get back on, not on top, but get back in the win column. We don't want to see them at 500. That would be very devastating. I'd be very upset. But we got an exciting games coming up. We actually have a special announcement too. We are actually moving our show to Monday, back to Mondays at 7 o'clock. Yes, we do, because of scheduling conflicts. Unfortunately, that conflicts with Monday Night Football to a degree. Who knows? Like
We get
tonight,
a 15-minute buffer
yeah,
period.
tonight. Like if we were going at the same time Monday night, we wouldn't really conflict, but there's a possibility that we could. It's going to be a scrambling drill to get to watching Monday Night Football, and hopefully, Bills play Monday night in a couple weeks, so we might just
Kind of
have to
be like
move
a
this.
preview.
Yeah,
Kind of be like a Monday night pregame type ish thing.
yeah,
Obviously, we'll still cover every Bills
that might be a
headline from
short
the
show.
weekend.
Actually, might be a 30-minute or 45-minute show. To be
Oh
honest,
yeah,
we'll see. But watch out. We're gonna be coming back next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So
and if you listen on our audio platforms, you can always catch it there. Spotify,
exactly,
Apple,
yeah,
Google Podcasts.
hmm
Listen there. Spread the word. That's the
yeah.
thing.
We're on
Spread the
Spotify.
word.
That's awesome, man. But we have a full slate of games coming up. Bills play tomorrow, and we're hoping to get it up because we need it really bad. And
Really bad.
yes, really bad. All right, everyone. That's it for tonight. Subscribe, like, share. Uh, put a tap the bell on the on our videos. Get some notifications as to when we go live. We'll see you next Monday. Our new showtime at 7 p.m. And to everyone, go Bills.
Go Bills.